got to remind everyone that Bez, who's just dropped to third now, is a rookie. I see it as a talented young fella, hungry. It's a home race on a good machine.
Got a front row in similar conditions in Mugello, didn't he? You mentioned it a few moments ago, Simon, in Q1, so he's pretty adept at adapting quickly to these changing conditions. Is Marco Bezzecchi. Oliveira, again, he's done a fair old stint on that soft rear tyre, hasn't he now, Miguel Oliveira? Over the line, the Portuguese man will come. There's an improvement again from him. At 1:33.862 plus Oliveira back on the front row.
It's a good point. I'm curious how far that soft rear, how many laps it'll do before it starts to drop. But clearly he feels the more laps you do, the faster you're going to go.
Yeah, well, that was his sixth lap of this session. It's ridiculously close in this Q2 session here in Misano. There are just 900ths of a second at the moment splitting the top four men. Bastianini in P1, Miller, Oliveira and Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi now goes into provisional pole, but he had it for what? 2 seconds, because Pecco Bagnaia now has found a 1:33.015. I can't even get my words out with the names of these guys before it changed at the top of the time sheet. It's now Bastianini that leads this Q2 session. 4 minutes remaining. You can't take your eyes off this session, can you, ladies and gentlemen? I'm sure you're enjoying this one at home, wherever you are in the world, but it's Bastianini that has the pole with a 1:32.747.
And they're only about a second and a half off what is possible. So conditions must be getting better and better as well, and they're risking it.
And it's changed again. A round of applause, a round of approval as well for Ducati, because Jack Miller now back in provisional pole position with a 1:32.637. Does a first pole position in 4 long years beckon for the 27-year-old Australian inside the top 3 in the first free practice sessions here this weekend. This could be a big lap though coming in from Bagnaia. He needs it, of course. He does have the 3-place grip penalty coming his way. This would be brilliant by Pecco Bagnaia. He would still be classified as the pole setter. He will still pick up the Tissot watch in the post-qualifying press conference later on, but he will have to start, if he stays as is, from 4th, although his lap time has been cancelled. He's gone back down to 4th place. He's on course here for P1 now, Pecco Bagnaia. Bezzecchi likewise, Bastianini as well. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Bezzecchi's just gone through the picture on the 72 bike. Will he go back on the front row? He does. And Bagnaia does indeed take over top spot yet again with a 1:32.413. Davide Tardozzi. He knows that could be a big result though for the Italian, because it would mean he would only get dropped back down to 4th place. A real good damage limitation exercise being produced here right now by the Ducati Lenovo team man.
Bagnaia has to be in the top 3 to stay on the first 2 rows with his penalty. So he has to do it.
I remember in Portimao in mixed conditions at the start of the season, this guy, I think he took the checker flag last and it secured him pole position. Is Zarco going to repeat that moment here in Misano? Over the line he comes, and he goes top, a 1:32.201. What a lap that was by Zarco. He's over 2/10 clear now, Bagnaia. Can you believe this as well? Zarco, Bagnaia, Miller, Bastianini and Bezzecchi. We briefly had a Ducati lockout of the top 5. The party gate crash though by Maverick Vinales, the Top Gun now, almost into top spot. He got a 1:32.291. Vinales on the front row. Bagnaia pushed back down to 3rd. That will mean starting 6th at the back of the second row. It's imperative that Bagnaia keeps himself inside those top 3 places to start from the second row of the grid.
And it's imperative Fabio stays in the top 8.
Yeah, Quattararo at the moment, there's a bit of bother coming for the world champion because he's been nudged back down to 7th place. A 3rd row start will not be what the world champion wants. He had to start, of course, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix last year from 15th. There was certainly a bit of pre-race nerves as he was on the brink of winning the world championship last year, but Zarco, at the moment, his fellow Frenchman on pole. Here comes Quattararo then. He's going to get one more flying lap at it now, the world champion, in 5th place. A nod of approval from Yamaha boss Lynn Jarvis. It's still, though, Johann Zarco with 60 seconds of this incredibly tense qualifying session here in MotoGP in San Marino remaining. Zarco still leads from Aprilia's Maverick Vinales by just under 1/10 of a second. Bagnaia on the front row.
Excuse me, Quattararo top 6. I mean, it's not 4 a row like my day, it's 3 a row. So he has to be on the 2 front rows, first 2 rows, or he can't fight for the win.
Pole goes back in the hands of the Aussie Miller. A 1:31.899 crucially. He's got over the line as well for one more flying lap. Here comes Maverick Vinales over the line. He's going to get one more crack at it as well. Is it provisional pole for him? Over the line he comes. No, Vinales though stays on that front row. The clock ticks down, 20 seconds remaining. What a qualifying session this has been. What another epic chapter in qualifying and Saturday afternoons in this 2022 MotoGP World Championship. It's Miller from Zarco, Vinales on the front row. Can Bagnaia get himself back inside that top three? He has to do it on this lap. The checkered flag is now out. He goes through turn 14. He attacks hard now on the factory Ducati through 15, where he crashed and lost the World Championship here 11 months ago. Pecco Bagnaia at the moment on course for pole position. He needs a front row because he's going to be bumped back down to, well, 3 places. Over the line he comes, and Bagnaia goes into second with a 1:31.914. Directly behind him, Bezzecchi moves back into 3rd place. They love it in Mini VR46 Ducati. He was the top man in Q1, wasn't he, Marco Bezzecchi? Great job by him. Here comes the beast, though. The clock is ticked down, the checkered flag is out, 0.03 of a second up was Bastianini in that 3rd sector. This is going to be mighty, mighty close. Is a late heartache coming for Miller here? No, there isn't. Bastianini, though, gets himself on the front row. Bezzecchi gets relegated to 4th. There is the checkered flag. This one's still not over. Maybe Maverick Vinales has a crack at the front row. Aleix Espargaro has aborted that last lap. He's going to, at best, be 9th. Fabio Quartararo 7th.
Matt, that's what I was about to say, is Quartararo in 7th. He's going to be the big disappointed guy in this one. 8th now. So because Miller, we expected, he's been fast every session, fastest up until qualifying. Bagnaia did the job. He starts 2nd row with the penalty. It's perfect. The team will be so happy.
Yeah.
But then when you go down, Fabio is going to be super disappointed. 3rd row, I said can't fight for the win. That's not true. It just makes the possibility so much harder.
It's the first pole position in MotoGP in 4 long years for Australia's Jack Miller. What a performance by him. A 1:31.899 sees him take his first pole since the Termas round in 2018 by just over 100th of a second. Fantastic job by the Ducati Lobo team. Bagnaia does get himself on that front row, and with the 3-place grid penalty, he will move back to P5. Of course, that will put Bezzecchi on the front row, but crucially, Bagnaia will start ahead of his 2 main rivals ahead of him in the championship. Fabio Quartararo has to start from 8th. Aleix Espargaro in 9th. The top 2 men in the World Championship in 2022 will start round 14, the Griffin Grand Prix of San Marino, from the 3rd row. Bagnaia starts 5th.